So the voodoo doll was used to more so locate tantric points and energy centers that could be used as sacred geometrical shapes and patterns that would actually resonate with like a computer system to help you to plug into more of your existence from a cosmonaut or from a perspective of a melanated being traveling to this planet having what's called a physical experience. In order to do that, you have to fuse in certain alchemical components and be able to kind of fit into a suit, essentially vibrating and dealing from the number 11 is essentially how it goes, because your flesh can be turned into divine flesh when experimented with the keys that deal with your flesh. There are key codes and transmissions that can be sent through your flesh and through the communication of your flesh through working with ancestors that had more melanin, like Inky and Enlil in them. You notice they have the K in their name because they had more melanin, and being able to work with those type of entities so that you can begin to channel more tantric, sexual, potent energy, because this type of energy is what's used to kind of plug into what's called the God head or the God body located in you. Is that type of sexual tantric energy, and it's only that energy that's going to help you to kind of like break out of a lot of the locks that have been put on our flesh and keeping us in more of a mortal state. So when you talk about immortality, this all goes into more so learning how to transform your flesh through experimenting with different programs that are essentially locked in different planets, like Mercury and things of that nature, different computer programs. When you learn how to experiment on this level, you can begin to plug into like the goal that they was looking for, like in the human body. The Atlanteans and the great civilizations, they was looking for like this energy force or this electricity or this type of energy that could essentially vibrate and raise the energy on this planet, because that's what will be needed, as far as getting into like channeling in energy more so through the crown chakra, through making the hair antennas and things of that nature. You're going to need to activate those aspects of your Kundalini and learn how to kind of like resonate as a God head and turn your whole body into a more like a God force or a God structure. Then your view would change. See, this is what voodoo goes into. It goes into your view, how you would view society and how you would view things based upon having this type of understanding. The way you would pass on your inheritance and things like that to your children and stuff like that would change when you get into this type of doctrine, because then now the inheritance will be passed on more so through activating and more so through transmuting certain karmic patterns and learning how to link these karmic patterns in with your present vibration, your present karmic state. So, for instance, like if you're experiencing negative transmissions, like negative experiences through negative psychic communications and things like that, what the voodoo does and learning how to like resonate with your ancestors and communicate with them does is it clears up a lot of those karmic channels and blockages so you can begin to experience and see reality from a perspective of not being locked into the matrix and the way things are set up, and learning how to kind of like move through reality through kind of raise your vibration through positive mantras and things of that nature and positive affirmations. This is how you raise your energy, is through that type of modality and through the voodoo type of modality, and learn how to use your body and your vessel as a weapon that can protect you and also guard and block you from negative attacks and psychic thievery and things of that nature. So it's really deep in trying to hold your vessel and your cot and your ba and keep that chi kind of like personally for you instead of releasing it, in a negative fashion, like when you experience or when you send out love transmissions and things like that. Some of that stuff creates negative karma because the love um, aspect of the grid is like really inoperable on the fifth dimension right now. We're locked into the fourth dimension, so it's inoperable. And the only way to kind of experience a lot of that is through breaking certain karmic patterns and things of that nature. So this is when you get into a darker version of experimenting with science and things of that nature and learning how to like work with the body and the mind as a unit and moving out of just as an individual, but into a soul group. You learn that different karmic experiences and patterns and things of that nature are fused into the mind and mentality of you. So what you have to do is learn how to break out of that through kind of like piercing the prism or the grid, this prism that's guarding this computer grid that we live on right now, learn how to kind of like walk through and pierce that and pierce the fog so that you can see the light in that, so that you can get understanding and truth. So it's a brief demonstration on some things that I'm working on and breaking this grid and this pattern through my travels and things like that, and learning how to kind of like use the energy that's located in me to kind of like give credit and things like that through my channel versus like being locked into more of a situation where I can't give any credit and things like that, because the credit that I'm giving out to people and things like that can't really be demonstrated correctly because of the fact that it's not really being like done through a clear channel or whatever. If you like giving out credit and negative credit and things like that, it's not being done through a clear channel. So what you have to do